This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
The Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Spoilers, major, huge, big spoilers ahead. We have a very special guest today for a small segment of the episode. Our friend Aaron Lucas, he is a resident parkour expert. He's been on American Ninja Warrior. We seriously dive so deep into the end chase sequence of Boba Fett. We also talk about potential Bad Batch connections, who's the mayor, our theories. So there are time codes down in the description if you'd like to jump around. Enjoy! Peanut butter. Daniel, how you doing, my friend? I had like a lag.
Yeah, you were like processing, you know. Got the beach ball going.
The beach ball, yeah. How you doing? 2022. Happy 2022.
Dude, it's the new
first episode.
Talked to you in like a year, dude. I mean, I've talked to you, but like
in other like 2022 highlights and goals, I actually had some podcast goals that I wanted to run by you and also just share with our audience so they could see, like, you know, if we get there.
Yeah, man. Lay 'em out.
I would like to do one guest per month. Check this month, because this episode, as we said in the intro, we are having our very good friend Aaron Lucas. He is like a parkour, like free running expert. He's super cool. We'll chat with him later, but
he's a free running god.
He's gonna give us. He's literally like a ninja. Like, he trains and does ninja competitions. Has won some, and like has been on American Ninja Warrior. Like, he's awesome, and he's going to give us insights into the like parkour running chase scene in the end of Boba Fett. Towards the end of that, so look forward to that. So yeah, I want to do one guest a month. I want us a lot of them to be industry professionals that give insights, and then I also goal is I would like to grow this enough so that we can get a sponsorship. So yeah. That would be really cool, because that allows us. I know everyone's like, sponsors. Ew, this is not sponsored. Don't worry. But like, if we do get that, then we're able to, like, I don't know, upgrade equipment. Then we get better mics, better cameras.
You put a lot more time and effort into the podcast.
Yeah, do better giveaways, all that stuff. So yeah. Anyways, also you might have noticed that this is not our normal Thursday release. I don't know if many people actually care about that or like notice when this goes up. This is Tuesday. We're kind of in a transition period. I'm trying to get it back to Monday. We're recording this on Monday, but I'm trying to start releasing it on Mondays, just because that gives us, if like a Mandalorian or Disney Plus show episode comes out on Wednesday, then it gives me the weekend to like film and edit by Monday. And same thing if like a movie comes out like on a Thursday, Friday, that gives me the weekend to Monday to come out. Also, it's a good way to start the week, you know, whatever we want pod. Yeah. All right. I don't know what that was.
Mondays are the new Fridays.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Thursday was our release date.
Well, I know, but like the Disney
Let's
thing
just
was
list
like
every day of the week to confuse everyone. Just kidding. So today's Tuesday. So we're kind of in transition period. Next week, we're going to try to release on Monday and then be releasing on Mondays from there forward. Anyways, we've been rambling long enough. Ready for the intro?
Yep, hit me with it.
You might want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Whatever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devilishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies and TV shows, giving behind-the-scenes insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more.
What is going on with you today, dude?
I don't know. What are we talking about? I've been at the DMV all day. That's what's happened anyways.
Yeah, that explains it.
So, we're talking about Book of Boba Fett. Are you excited, ready to jump into things?
I'm Ooga Booga ready.
All right, so Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Alternative title, Boba Fett had a really rough week. Like,
yeah,
it was time with the Sand People. Dang. What are your thoughts on just this concept as a whole, like the series, like a Boba Fett story?
Well, I at first was curious to see how they're going to lay it out, because like a lot of fans are curious about like, okay, how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit and everything like that?
They really connected
saw in
the
this
dots.
episode. Yeah. But as well as what's going on after Mando. So the way that they're going about this with him like going through like these dream sequences as he's in the back to tank, which I think is a really
before we talk about the flashbacks, back to the tank is something we say all the time when we derail. I want to like refresh everyone that maybe haven't been with us forever, but like whenever like we start to derail or go on a tangent, we say like back to the tank to like kind of jump us back. The way that started was back in 2019. Now I guess like 3 years ago, we were covering episode 5, and we were like reviewing that leading up to Rise of Skywalker, and we were talking about the back to tank, and then like we started doing like a tangent, I think, about this AT-AT that was like had a family or something like that. We started talking about that, and I was like, all right, we should go back to.
No,
and I was thinking,
it was the probe droid.
Oh yeah, Probo or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, I was like, we got to go back to, and I was gonna say back to what we were talking about, but I was like back to, and I was like, there's a back to tank. I was like back to the tank, and I think you were talking and literally like did not hear me say that, and then I kept saying that for the whole episode,
and then eventually it clicked.
And then, at the very end, like it's actually a moment in our podcast trailer I edited, but at the very end, I said it slowly, and I was like, back to the tank, and you were like, oh, and then it just like it just kind of stuck. So like, I'm glad that it's kind of getting like a resurgence with this show, like back to the tank. So, anyways, if we say back to the tank, it means we're tangenting, which I think is a great moment to use it now. Let's go back to the tank.
Yeah, let's go back to the tank.
Book of Boba Fett. So, back to the tank.
But yeah, no, I like the duality of it, where it's explaining like his rise after the Sarlacc and all that, but also his rise now.
Speaking of what you're getting split up, I really want to comment that I really like how they're splitting it, and I feel like I didn't feel like I was pulled either way to like past or present. Like I was equally invested in both. To say.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry for taking that point from
No. You said it way better than I was going to. So but yeah,
I'm eloquent. When I don't lag.
I'm dumb.
The duality between us. No, just kidding. Anyways, I just want to quickly say up top, this series, it's estimated that it's around the same budget as Mandalorian, and I think there's going to be a lot of comparisons and similarities between them. So in Mandalorian, it was like 100 million, I think, total, which is like a pretty good budget for like a movie, but it's split over. There's gonna be 7 episodes of this, so that's about roughly a little under $15,000 per episode, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and that's also an estimate, so I don't know, but that's interesting. I feel like people are gonna criticize this. I think it's really interesting because I remember when Mandalorian was announced, like that was gonna be like a show. People were like, "Oh, why is like this random Mandalorian? Why don't they do Boba Fett?" Like I remember that was distinctly something people said. And now everyone's like, oh, I love the Mandalorian. Like, it's so cool. And I'm wondering if people are going to be like, why are we getting like a Boba Fett show? We just had Mandalorian. And I think it's interesting because it's going to be so similar. Like, it's in that same world that it's not going to be as fresh and new as Mandalorian was, like kind of genre breaking. Like, it was the first Disney Plus show. Like, that's huge for Mandalorian. And like, it's so well loved. I'm wondering if this is going to be as well received or not, or kind of... Or even as grand of the story.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It depends on the direction they go with it, because like he's now kind of doing his own thing. He's building his own empire.
Yeah,
it's going to be unique to see, because with Mando, right, what we saw was like, let's bring in all these other characters that we know, like Ahsoka, Boba. You know, like it's weird when you have like a new outlet that you could then bring people into, but now when you have something that's already kind of known,
like Boba Fett's like a very well known like character. Like people loved him for like, especially in the original. That's another reference from our old original trilogy. But like he was like had such little screen time, but was like such a cool villain.
He was a fan favorite.
Yeah. So, yeah. I agree. Like what you said, like it depends on what story they're setting up.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about like that story and the kind of the two stories. I think overall the story is going to be of Boba Fett is who or how, like in these flashbacks, like Boba Fett, like he was like a solo like bounty hunter, and at the end of where we saw him at Return of the Jedi, it's gonna be his story of kind of like rising through the ranks of this Tusken Raider tribe, and that's how and like getting their respect, learning to be part of a community, and taking those lessons and applying them to now him as a like crime lord and like taking Jabba's place. I think he's going to. I think that's gonna be like the overarching story, and we see it like he's trying to be a different crime boss like than Jabba. He's not trying to rule with fear, he's trying to rule with respect, and I like that angle.
That's something I like with the duality of this episode too, because like you saw how like in the flashback how he earned that respect, right?
Yeah,
with the Tuskens. And now he's trying to what we saw from the present now is like him trying to demonstrate that and earn the respect of everyone else that was under Jabba, right? So
yeah. Do you think that you had to have seen Mandalorian to understand the Book of Boba Fett?
No.
No? Okay. Do you think, I mean, I think there's a greater appreciation, understanding.
Well, one, if you didn't see Mando and then you just started watching...
No, but I feel like people would do that. Like people that are like hardcore, like original trilogy, everything Disney does.
Wait, I just realized this is Bob.
Book of Boba Fett? It's Bob.
Bob.
Yeah. Let's abbreviate.
Sorry. I just realized because we abbreviate like everything, so that just made me think of that. This is Bob.
Back to Tank. What we were talking about. Yeah. Do you have to have seen Mandalorian to understand this? I don't think so. Do you think we'll see any crossover like Mandalorian or any of those characters come in?
We might, right? Because the
who
question
do you think, and who would you want to see? I know for sure we're not getting that. The girl, like the whatever her name was, with like the strong woman that was supposed to be in Rangers of the Old Republic or New Republic or whatever, and then like she got canceled for like stuff she said.
Oh! I thought they brought her back though. I thought they were just like talks about her coming back.
I heard that got canceled.
Well, okay. Yeah, no. You know who's one person they're going to bring back? Remember the what was it, the Dock Keep whatever on Tatooine? Whenever Mando landed, as like the lady that always took care of Grogu.
Oh yeah, you think we'll see her again?
That'd be so funny to see
and
her
like her
again,
droids.
honestly.
I forgot about her. That'd be cool.
That'd be nice.
I'd be interested to see. I've heard rumors. I think I saw someone was like, I want to see Ahsoka.
Listen, it would be fun to see like these bigger name characters, but like I don't know if it would make sense. You know?
Oh,
like,
I had and I saw a theory that you remember. So in the deleted Clone Wars scene, the reason Boba has that dent in his helmet is from Cad Bane. I saw a theory that maybe a flashback will be that fight of like Cad Bane versus Boba Fett. I don't think it will unless it serves the story somehow. But it would be so sick to see that in live action.
Amazing to see.
Yeah,
dude, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm totally down to see that live. Ooh, dude, imagine like other bounty hunters too are probably going to see.
I also just want to comment that it's really interesting. It feels great to be back in Star Wars. Like, it really does. Like talking about it because we've been talking about Marvel for a while, and I love Marvel and everything. But like, I feel like Marvel is so diluted. Like they have stuff coming out all the time, which is great. It's seriously amazing.
Yeah, no,
but
it's amazing.
Star Wars
because
is so frequent, you get
like.
It's like it's like a treat when you get Star Wars, and I'm like, yes, and like I'm like, so this gets me so excited for Kenobi. Like, dude,
when Kenobi comes out,
Kenobi. That reminds me. So it's interesting in later, like flashing forward to a flashback. Sorry, that's weird, but what the
flashing forward to a flashback.
The prisoner that's like beside him that like sends off the siren, you know, like that alien that's like kind of tells on him.
The Rodian?
Yeah, the Rodian. He is voiced by Sam Witwer, who voices Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and pretty much everywhere. He voices Darth Maul everywhere and also played Starkiller. So I thought it'd be really funny if like the siren, like someone should edit like with the siren when he like does this like alien call. Instead of that, it's Kenobi! Like he screams in Rebels or whatever.
Dude, that'd be so freaking funny. The Tuscans are just like, what is going on?
Yeah. And then Ewan McGregor, hello there. And he's like, like the ghost appears. Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost. He's like, what do you want?
Ghost, hello there. And then he remembers him like, hey, your dad tried to kill me.
But yeah, no, I was going to ask, like, who do you think is still alive of the other bounty hunters, right? Like, who died on the other Death Star and stuff? Do we still have, like, Bosk and...
Well, who's the guy that comes in and try and, like, Boba's like, I used to work for him. He wasn't on the Death Star, but, like, he was another character that Boba's interacted with. I think that's actually really funny. So that character that comes in first to, like, provide tribute to Boba Fett, it's actually played by the director, Robert Rodriguez. And so it's really funny when he says, like, oh, I used to work for him. Because he literally works for him. Like, the actor works for him. So I thought that was really funny.
That's called an inside joke.
Yeah. It's funny because Robert Rodriguez is inside that hot costume, probably. Yeah. Bad jokes. Back to the tank. That's my saving grace, Back to the Tank. And it's also Boba Fett's saving grace. Did you see that segue? I am proud of that one.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Oh, can we talk about this flashback, speaking of the Back to the Tank?
Yeah.
Like, the early ones, like Kamino and Geonosis. I had an interesting theory.
That hit different.
Because remember, Bad Batch spoilers, Kamino's gone now. I wonder if Boba Fett knows that. And if we might see, like, Omega. Like, I wonder where she's kicking at this time.
Oh my god,
happened.
yes, dude. That would be...
Yeah.
That makes so much sense, actually.
Yeah, because she'd be more of an adult now. She was like, slightly younger than Boba, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Right?
Do you think we're going to be seeing the Bad Batch at all?
I don't know, because Boba Fett's pretty old now, and the Bad Batch were already, like, older in episode 3. Maybe. They'd be, like, older than Rex. I don't know. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'm trying to think who else. There's the other bounty hunters. There's the other IG unit. That'd be funny.
Oh
to
yeah,
see
IG-88
unit again. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Taika Waititi will come back.
What else? There's the guy with the machine gun with like the white cap. It's like bald. You know what I'm talking about? Not like white cap.
Yes,
yes,
I
like
do.
Brown.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yes, I don't know, but we might see them potentially.
Dengar or something like that.
Anyways, we could go on all day about people that could be in this. I want to talk about what is in this. The Sarlacc pit.
True.
That escape, was just
Dude,
so
that was
gratifying
intense.
to see.
Yeah.
And like also, I just want to say, when I was like 10 years old, I wrote a script for episode 7, and the first scene was Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc pit. So Disney, I will take my royalties, please. I won't sue you if you just like cut me a cool like $1 million and give me like a job. You know, just scratch $1 million. Just give me a job. Like I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I just thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm a prophet, whatever. Also, it's interesting in the Sarlacc pit, that stormtrooper that like he like takes the thing from
the air tank. Yeah.
there were no stormtroopers in the Jabba's barge fight. Like no stormtroopers were present, so that must have been from another time. I saw a theory.
Yep.
Maybe it was one of the troopers in the squad that was looking for C-3PO and R2 potentially in A New Hope. So that might be cool.
That'd be cool.
I don't know.
That makes sense too.
Yeah, it's just so sick, that scene. Also the music. So I looked it up, and the music in Star Wars is like always just amazing. And that's like a huge mantle to like kind of take up. Speaking of the mantle, like Boba taking up Jango's mantle. Whoa, symbolism. But anyways, so the guy that did this music was Ludwig Göransson.
The name sounds familiar.
Göransson. I don't know. I probably mispronounced it, but anyways, he also did Mandalorian, and he also did Tenet.
That's why.
And we talked about this in Dune, actually.
Oh, and that's also why. Yeah.
Remember? So we talked in Dune. Hans Zimmer usually is a longtime collaborator with Christopher Nolan, but he was like, I really have Dune's a passion project of mine. I can't work on Tenet with you, Christopher Nolan. I'm Hans Zimmer in this story. But I wrote the Lion King music. Like, bow down. Just kidding. So I just thought that was like cool, interesting connection that like these two were like crossing over and like we're seeing that. But like I thought he did a great job. But specifically, sorry, I know I'm rambling, but the music when Boba's like kind of like triumphant and like kind of coming out of the Sarlacc pit and then being dragged by the Tusken Raiders, it includes men's like choir, men's choir, like so voices and not
Boys
a
to
lot.
men.
Yes, exactly. They were in. How do you know? But often in Star Wars, they don't use like voices, only in like specific instances. And I saw someone make this connection that Duel of the Fates uses voices, and that's commonly with like paired with Darth Maul, and then the Emperor's theme used like choral like chants. Also, so the Emperor and Darth Maul, and they are two characters that have had unlikely resurrections in Star Wars, and now Boba Fett is also having an unlikely resurrection, like coming out of the Sarlacc pit after everyone thought he was dead. So I thought that was cool. I don't know if it's intentional connection, but I thought it's cool.
No, it makes sense though. That's a cool parallel. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do you think we'll see like in these flashbacks, like in the coming episodes? Do you think he'll?
Well, again, like you said, we've seen ranges of the flashbacks, like you said, coming back from like Camino, Geonosis. So we have flashbacks from his childhood. We also see ones from the Tuskens.
What if it just flashed back to like stuff we've already seen? Like he's flashing back to like seeing Slave Leia. He's just like, oh yeah, and then back to Tech.
Come here, you wench. You know.
Yeah, or like you know what I want to see a flashback of? Oh my gosh, I want to see a flashback of that awkward dinner on Cloud City.
Oh, Cloud City, yeah,
Darth Vader and Han Solo and Leia. That's what I want to see in the next Back to Tech flashback. That would be
would be so funny. He's just there. Yes,
I think there's a what's it called?
Oh my god,
Robot Chicken like clip. Like skit of that, so maybe we'll see that.
But no, that does bring up a good point. Like seeing, like I feel like an important thing for him would be seeing Han like frozen again.
Ooh, yeah.
Seeing, I don't know, some kind of flashback related to that. I feel like that could help the story, and like if you're talking about like I don't know, like vengeance or something like that, which might be coming up later on.
Vengeance. Yeah.
You can also get Batman in there. Just a flashback to a completely different universe. You just get the new Batman trailer.
Yeah, with the multiverse now and spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, but like multiverse stuff, like just like crossover. Like he has the hive mind, the Venom hive mind.
But yeah, no, like seeing something like that from like Cloud City would be cool. What other stuff was he like in so far?
Me personally, I think we'll see more of the like his arc in the Tusken Raider gang and like ascending the ranks there. And I wonder if we're going to see him catch or figure out more about that like spray paint like gang that like robs the moisture farmer. I wonder if we're going to see that. I think that's where the storylines are going to converge. Like he's going to find out more about it in the flashback and see that their wrongdoings, and then maybe he'll like go after them and like get justice in the present now that he has more power potentially. I don't know.
It could be it. I don't know. I was also very curious about the symbol that they had because they were drawing like the spire symbol thing.
Okay, like I didn't know anything about that. What is that?
I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if it is going to be related to anything already. It could be something new, but it could also be relating to some other gang that's like in the comics or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the shape itself had me intrigued.
I saw someone who was like, maybe he was just trying to get the chunks out of his like spray paint, so he's just spraying random chunk.
It's funny because it looked like two Nike symbols that were just like right next to each other.
Just do it, rob people.
Yeah.
I also just love it. Is this like it's amazing visual storytelling? Like, no, not the first word is said. I wrote it down at like 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Like that's crazy. And that's when he's talking. He's like, Rodian, like I want to, or like help you or whatever. You want me to cut your bonds?
Do you think we'll see him in a flashback? Because it's a theory that he's the one that burned Lars and ants, whatever, right?
Boba Fett?
Yeah. Wasn't that a theory?
What? I don't know.
Because I don't think flame troopers were like a thing then, right? But he was like the only one with like the arm.
I'm just imagining like a stormtrooper now, just like with like starting a fire for like a flint and steel. Like I'm gonna get these Larses.
But no, like I feel like that'd be something intense to see, like him like going after the Lars family
for the Empire. Yeah. Sorry, I just had that image in my mind now. I'm gonna talk about the Machamp monster. What do you think of that?
Oh, dude, it came out of nowhere. I didn't think anything like that would be on Tatooine.
That really came out of nowhere. But like, it's cool. Like, I liked the design of it, and like the puppetry looked good, and visual effects. Like when it switched back and forth, like I couldn't really tell.
You're out in your moisture farm, and then out of nowhere, just
Machamp.
a freaking Machamp comes out of nowhere.
Machamp.
And you're just like, I'm a Chad. And you're just like, well, crap,
You're just like, I've got a bad feeling about this. Yeah. But yeah, we talked about the past a lot. Let's jump back to the present. So what do you think about this mayor guy? Do you think he's going to be a bad guy moving forward? Is there a bigger bad behind him?
He's going to be a bad guy, right?
Hey, just like Wreck-It Ralph says, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
A bad guy.
Or no, Zangief said that too, Wreck-It Ralph. Sorry. Excuse me for forgetting Wreck-It Ralph lore. How could I?
Yeah, Jake, how could you? Come on. That's the sacred text.
The sacred text.
But no, what was it? Because again, he's a crime lord now, so like the mayor might be like a guy under like the new Galactic Republic.
Yes, you reminded me. I think he could also be either Galactic Republic. I saw a theory that like maybe we'll see the Syndicate, like Darth Maul's, like from Solo, that like crime group that Amelia Clark took over. So maybe we'll see.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Her or like because they mentioned his protocol droids. People are like maybe we'll see C-3PO or something. Like although I think he's with Leia, but like yeah.
At this time,
I think he's with Leia, like setting up the New Republic kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. He's either doing that or doing like some kind of reconnaissance missions.
So also just props to Tamara Morrison this whole episode. Like he's 61 years old and he's doing amazing things and looks good for 61. Like
yeah,
dang,
he's kicking ass, taking names.
Yeah, and he's all out of names because he doesn't have a protocol droid to understand the names.
He's just like ooga booga. Okay, I'll go with that.
So what do you think? Do you think the delegation, the parkour pals that like we'll talk about in a minute with our friend Aaron, they were sent by the mayor? That was the second delegation, maybe?
That's the thing. I feel like it could be the mayor here, but there's so many different things that Jabba was getting his feet into, or his tail into.
Yeah,
I had to think about that for a second. I was like, wait a second.
Jabba with his feet.
But yeah, no, like, so it could be literally anything. That's the thing. It could have been the lady that gave him all the coin, in his helmet.
Oh,
honestly,
she's like, I want those coins back.
Yeah, but no, like,
oh yeah, that little cantina scene was really cool. I love the rendition of the cantina theme, like the kind of different version of it. The cantina theme is also like my ringtone, so every time I hear it, I just think my phone is ringing now, and I've kind of ruined it for myself. But so now I have a new version I can listen to.
Nice.
All right, but yeah, so now we're actually going to cut to our little segment with our like parkour ninja expert, Aaron Lucas, and break down the final chase sequence at the end with those parkour guys.
Yeah.
Boosh. All right, bam, we're in this next segment. We are joined by the infamous Aaron Lucas. Aaron, how are you doing, first of all?
Doing great, yeah. Can't complain at all.
Thank you for joining us. Can you give
Thanks
us
for having me.
a little insight on just like what you do and your expertise in the field, the parkour ninja, your amazing field?
Appreciate it, yeah. No, so I've been doing parkour ninja now for probably about 2.5, 3 years now, I think. I was on the show for a couple years, season 11.
American Ninja Warrior right
Ninja
here.
Warrior, yeah.
Dang.
And then got to test for season 13 and then reapplying every year and whatnot. I was also on World Chase Tag, and I'm actually a director of ninja at Legacy Sports Complex here in Arizona. I have dabbled a little bit with stunt work and have a couple good friends that are actually in the stunt game in Hollywood and down in Atlanta now, and some actually in Florida as well. So I by no means am a absolute expert. I want to lay that out there.
You're way more of an expert than us, which is why you're here.
That's fair.
So thank you.
Trying to get my way into the industry as best as I can. So
yeah, and what better way than to start talking about it on this infamous podcast? No, just kidding. So yeah, we're here. We're gonna break down. We're here with you, the parkour ninja expert. We're gonna break down specifically the final sequence in the Book of Boba Fett in the present, when the Boba Fett and the assassin get like mobbed, and then they are like chased, and there's some kind of like parkour, like free running. I don't even know what is it called. Like what would you call that at the end when they're like jumping across the rooftops? Is that like parkour or free running, and like what's the difference between those two?
Yeah, for sure. So parkour and free running are very similar. Parkour, by definition, is moving through your environment from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible. So using your environment to your advantage. Free running, however, is doing the same kind of thing, but adding more of a freestyle or gymnastics flair. So the part where it's adding more of the flips and tricks and stuff like that becomes a little bit more of the free running side of things. So what we saw in Book of Boba Fett would have been more of a parkour line where they're using their environment to go from point A to point B, in this case, escape. As efficiently as possible.
Yeah, so that would not make sense if they're just like, if they're not trying to be efficient with it, they're like, woo, let's do all these tricks.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really interesting. So they're parkouring. So what did you think of their like performances?
Were you like, oh man, I can outrace them, you know? Like,
if only I were there.
Yeah, well, I looked at the end credits scene because I was curious who the stunt coordinator and the performers are, and they don't actually have the like specific role listed.
Right.
They have stunt performers listed at the bottom, so I did my own little research to try to figure out who it was, and I think I narrowed it down to Paul Darnell, which actually I met him at World Chase Tag this year. He's he helps with Hollywood Free Runners, which is a team with Kyle Soderman and a couple other guys that are pretty cool. Pretty fun guys to hang out with. And I think the other guy was Dave Matty, I want to say.
Okay.
You're that, or Ryan Raisaki.
Okay. But, I'm sorry, these names don't mean anything to me. I don't know who they
are. Anyways, they were the only two that, when I looked through their profiles, seemed to have some kind of parkour background. Their movement definitely showed that they knew what they were doing, and that they had fluid movement through it. However, some of the moves just didn't quite make sense for the environment that they're in.
Really?
So there's a movement called attack, which is where you say step off a sidewall. You just kind of like push one foot off it, and then you push, and lunge in a different direction. Well, I saw at one point they're running away, and the guy in the back kind of like tacks off the wall, but does like a 360 off of it, and then like runs. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because they're both running in a straight line, and he just kind of like tacked off the wall and did like a fun
twist. Okay.
No reason to do that.
Interesting. Maybe to look cool. Why would you do that? Because you want the bottom line, the stunts, and I've seen a lot of this on like Corridor, and I'm by no means an expert, but like the performance, like you want to serve the story, and like the story here is they're trying to escape because the tides turned when those like pig guards came in and kind of fought them off, and they don't want to get captured. So like they're trying to escape point A to point B. So what you're saying, it doesn't make sense if like they're doing a spin move in the middle of it for no reason.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like on top of that, like I was looking at the stunt coordinators as well, and none of them have a specific parkour background of any kind. They're mostly just fight coordinators.
Right.
And
Which there are fights in Star Wars, so that's fair.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The scenes that I like really think back to when I think of like a good parkour scene come in like Six Underground, for instance.
Oh yeah, I worked with an editor from that film. Yeah, when I was in LA 2 years ago.
Yeah, they brought on actual parkour athletes to be able to.
I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, Michael Bay worked side by side with some of the most elite parkour teams in Europe to be able to come up with some of the sequences.
Right.
Classic Michael Bay.
I know, right? Yeah. You can see that through the movement,
right.
Whereas in the different choreography, but here you can tell like they were just like, okay, get from there to there, but make it look cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I could tell that. Like I remember when I first watched this like a couple days ago, the episode, I was like, oh, that was a cool like parkour sequence at the end. And then I called you and I was like, hey, would you want to be on the episode? And then I watched it again last night and I was like looking at it specifically from like how will I ask questions about parkour and stuff. And I was like, this wasn't like the coolest, but like it was still great. Like again, I think because I was viewing it through different lenses, like as a casual viewer, I think it was great and it served the purpose. And it's just a quick little sequence. But like as a like I'm dissecting the parkour, like it's not gonna hold up 100%. But I still want to give them credit and like I don't want to like crap on their work. But like yeah.
And at the end of the day, like so for me, from a parkour athlete standpoint, I would have loved to see like at the end they do a couple of like tacks between the wall that were like really, really small where they could have just done, you know, a little side ball. If we were being realistic, they would just do side ball and run through. It looked good performance wise. However, I would love to see a little bit bigger distance between each tack.
Yeah.
That being said, at the end of the day, these performers are having to do multiple takes over and over again. If they're doing full effort
in these heavy costumes, in like, I don't think they went on set in the desert, but like,
but still with like all the lights and everything there, like that's crazy.
Yeah, the studio lights.
If they're having to do like multiple takes over and over again at full power, full effort,
and for like weeks at a time, because like they're probably filming like the fight
sections
all the way through, like in different sections. So you're probably like day to day. It's just like constant. It's brutal. So like, I get what you're saying, and I think that's a very fair point to bring up.
Yeah, but in terms of movement, I saw an underbar, I saw a really good wall run, I saw a couple of really nice kongs and dive kongs coming through.
What are those? The last two you just said?
Underbar is where you see the guy go through the that, like, small little section, the window. That is a legit move. The first time that the underbar was introduced was David Bell in District B13 movie back in 2004, where he showed that kind of like going through a window. Yeah, so that was the first time that was really introduced, and the first time that parkour was really introduced was through David Bell, who's kind of the creator of parkour out in France. But
I would have named it after myself. Like
I know, right?
the Sarkor.
Oh, that's so good, dude. Oh.
But then you see the Kong move, which is where they're diving to their hands and kind of moving through, and so that's a vault that we use in parkour actually a lot. It's one of the most common vaults that we use. And it's a great way to go up onto an object, or even to move past an object that might be like hip level or higher, or kind of far, to be able to get through it quickly.
I'm just thinking of as there was like a promo for like one of the old Spider-Man movies, Tom Holland and Zendaya, and like Tom Holland was doing all like the Spider-Man like stunts off like railings and like flips, and Zendaya would just like go behind him and kind of like walk around it, be like, yeah, woo, like I'm doing it too. Also, I really want to quickly mention up top that like you are an expert, and I know you are, because my hands are still healing from when we went when I drove across the country to come here. Yeah,
still good.
I visited and stayed with you for a week, and one day we went rock climbing, and you were like showing me some ninja moves, and I very badly tore some calluses in my hands, and they're still healing. It's now been recording this on the 3rd. I was there like the 19th, pretty much. So like, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that they're doing better.
They are. It feels a lot better. But anyways, I I wanted to quickly mention that just like I know we were talking about like how maybe certain things don't always line up and like seem like great professional like parkour like to the max as it could be, and I think that also goes into you get to consider it's like a TV show, so they have like 7 of these episodes to film in like a short period of time, so you just got to get through it. And also they have to consider, and I think if they're interesting, you're when you're doing stunts, you have to consider the choreography of the performance itself and also the choreography of the camera. Like that is so important, like to marry those two together. Because if you just have static shots, that's going to be boring no matter what you're doing, really. But if you have like I don't know, like moving cameras. I mean, even like American Ninja Warrior itself, like they have so many camera angles going around to like keep cutting and showing the best angle of like what's happening. And like when you're doing a narrative film, you can plan that out beforehand. I remember there's one shot when like the guy, I don't know what the move is called, but like he's like jumping around the building like on a pole, and the camera's like looking straight down. That's just a shot that stood out to me. I was like, that's a cool like kind of marrying the choreography of the camera and the performance itself. So that's something also to consider and just like
absolutely
cool.
I wanted to actually ask Leppy about that move because that also stood out to me.
Yeah. Also, we call Aaron Leppy from school. I don't know if you want us to call you that here. Sorry. It's just like a habit.
Instagram plug, Leppy Lucas.
Yeah, for sure. Follow him.
But yeah, what did you think about that shot specifically?
Which shot specifically?
The shot where the guy like jumps and then there's like the pole that's on the side. It's like there's a wall and then there's a pole, and he like grabs the pole, like swing around and then go to the other side. Yeah, I see stuff on your Instagram where you're doing like, why did I say Instagram like that? Instagram. But but no, I've seen your stuff on Instagram where you are doing like all kinds of crazy stuff where you're like jumping from like walls to walls, like even like with hooks and like crazy crap like that. Like, what the heck, dude? So like, is that something that's like realistic, or is that something that's like what was your take on that shot?
In that situation, that would have been a completely valid like use of the environment. I've done I don't know the specific term for that. It would basically be just a straight bar. Like I don't even know if there's a name for what they did.
You could make something up and I would have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
It's the
like a Ooga Booga Star Wars.
It was the Starcore move.
Yeah, I'd be like, cool, wow. I would have been editing later, like trying to find a clip of it and be like, where is it?
Yeah. It's essentially just like a lache, but you kind of just ride around the pole. I've never really known a great word to use for it, but no, I've done that multiple times in different scenarios, whether it was on World Chase Tag. You do it actually a lot, like as you're running around to kind of change direction.
Is it fun?
It's so much fun. Just hold on to the pole and spin around it, you know. But I did see the assassons. What did you say?
It's kind of sus. The assassin.
Sorry.
Something I did notice, and after looking it up afterwards, so the 2 parkour athletes, the guys that came in to attack Boba, those guys definitely seem to have that parkour background, right? When watching the assassin go for it, she didn't seem as comfortable with her loading of her hips to be able to make the move around.
I was gonna ask what you thought of her performance, because like she probably doesn't have as much of a parkour background compared to the other guys.
Looking at kind of her background specifically, she was more of a martial arts background. So, still some like flipping and some tricking, but not necessarily the same kind of like bar movements that you'd see in parkour.
Okay.
And moving through your environment. So I did notice that there was a couple, like she was kind of leading out a little bit far with her chest instead of kind of like loading her hips in the right way to come around that move. She was really low in the bar. So that would have been a little bit hard to make it personally, but you can tell the other guys, they jumped up nice and high, loaded their hips, and then brought their hips through really well as they came around the obstacle.
That might serve the story though. Like maybe the people that hired those goons, like hired people that could get away easily. And then like her skill set is not so much like parkouring.
She's more into killing
rooftops.
Yeah.
I wonder, I think just taking a step back, it would be so cool just like in general as like a performer to be able to just like you do parkour like every day and like you train, that's what you do, but then to be able to do that as your job on a Star Wars set, like in like this Mos Espa or whatever,
yeah
like that is amazing. Like that'd be so cool to go to work every day and just parkour around freaking Tatooine. Like what?
That'd be pretty cool. There was a pretty good roof gap that they did at one point.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right before that scene that you're talking about, where they come around the bar.
Is it when they're on the two things that they do? Or?
No, a little bit after that. It was after the weird like 180 kind of thing.
Yeah.
360 tech. They did a nice little striding to roof gap, which looked really well done, really well performed. It didn't look super out of place. They definitely emphasized the jump a little bit, but I think performance wise, that just makes it better for the for the casual watcher.
Yeah. What do you mean by they like emphasize the jump? Like they like made it slow-mo or something, or like emphasize the gap or what?
When they went for the jump, they really like tucked their knees up and made it
okay.
Oh, like the movement that they were doing.
Okay,
their movement,
so they like exaggerate their movements.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Which I don't see anything wrong with when you're performing for a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy that you're able to break that down though. Like like you're watching it, right? And you're able to say, okay, like how would I do this? And like what? Like where your body would need to be able to say do a jump like that. So it gets to the point where you're able to be like, why is he tucking his knees in, bro?
Yeah.
Like
Meanwhile,
360.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have no idea. I'm like, whoa, like he just jumped that. That's cool.
Oh, going back, you can see the assassin's kind of background with like the martial arts and tricking when the guys turn around after that bar move and throw the like spikes or whatever at her. And she does kind of it looks like
like jumps off the roof.
Before that, she does like the touchdown raise, which is a tricking move.
is that when she like?
Yeah, where she did like the backflip.
Can you explain what a tricking move is and like what tricking is just briefly? I don't know if we covered that yet.
Yeah. So
we might have. Sorry, we did.
No, it's slightly different. It's very different than like say free running. So free running is adding flips into outdoor environment, parkour, moving A to B. But tricking then changes a little bit more, where you see that a lot more on spring floors, where guys are just doing combo after combo after combo.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen videos
a lot
of that.
Twists. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you see that a lot actually in stunt gymnastics as well. Competition, or not stunt gymnastics, stunt martial arts.
Okay.
So Justine, that's what she does.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's like, twists and
our
like
other
flips
friend
with, flips with, the different weapons they'll do for show kind of choreography, martial arts. So
okay, that definitely sounds like something that happens in Star Wars. Like, yeah, that is cool. Okay,
and it's a great addition to the scene too. I think I just don't know why she jumped off the roof after that.
I was so dramatic. I don't know how she like got back up in front of them. Yeah,
I think when she went over, she's like, "Oh wait, there's a ledge there." And
they were like, "We're out of budget. We need a big finish. What do we do?" They just look behind her. I'll jump off the roof.
Yeah, after they look down and they see that it's nothing, and she's
like,
yeah.
I do have a question. This is like one of the last things I have, but like, if you were like approached and someone said like, "Hey, you are coordinating this like parkour run and this chase sequence," like, how would you start going at that? And then after that, the second follow-up question, like, how would you start training actors? Like, what would you have them do?
It's a great question. Yeah, I think, first thing is trying to understand what we're trying to achieve in the scene as a whole. Like, what
like
is
the story? That's a good answer.
Yeah, like what is is the assassin trying to catch, or is the protagonist trying to catch, or are the antagonist getting away? Like,
and the mode is behind like each of them. Like, I feel like, sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but I'm just thinking how I would do it too. Like, I would, as like on the film storytelling side, I'd be like, I want something that shows that like these two guys that are like running away, they're like scared of their boss. So like, how can we like emphasize like they're desperate and just trying to get away? Yeah, sorry, you continue.
No, absolutely. And on top of that, are we trying to like show that these are trained professionals, or just some goons that are like trying to like just do something? And in this case, obviously trained professionals. So trying to understand the movement that we want our actors to kind of work through. The next thing is trying to see how complex the environment that we're in. So obviously in most ESPA, like it's a very desert, almost kind of like
Arizona.
Well, yes. But the structures are very kind of like Athens or like Greece, kind of structures where there's a lot of features on the rooftop, so that gives a lot of play for the parkour athletes to be able to move through. The next thing that I would say is trying to understand, okay, how long do we want this
Yeah,
scene,
that's a good. Yeah, you
right?
come at
Like,
with the director like, hey, I have this 20-minute chase sequence. They're like, cool, you have 30 seconds.
yeah, exactly. And so how much of this, do we need to create a story in this amount of space? Like
Yeah,
we
and
could,
I've seen a lot of people.
yeah.
Sorry again to interrupt, but a lot of
No,
people like
please.
structure like chase sequences, acts 1, 2, and 3, almost like a mini movie
Yeah.
or story within the greater story. Like I think you can even kind of point out there's different sections of this sequence. Like the first section is when like they come in and like attack and Boba Fett and the assassin are like caught off guard. And then the second maybe beat in the story could be when the like guards come in, the pigs, and like kind of the turns tide, and that kind of ends when the assassin starts chasing after him, and Boba Fett just obliterates the one with his rocket.
Yeah.
And then the third like final act is like the chase.
The other really nice thing too about parkour, like in chase scenes in general, is change of direction makes really good for transitions, to other characters or to other moves. So breaking it down that way, because you could do.
What do you mean by the change of direction? Like changing the physical direction they're going, or?
So yeah, if they're taking like a hard right turn or the turn around that bar, or even after they do like the strides, which is just big long steps essentially on those like pillars. After a big move, they land and it's going to be boring for a second because they're just going to run across the roof. So that's a great section to be able to kind of cut and give
check
emotion,
in on Boba Fett or something. Yeah,
check in on the assassin, do whatever. But also give you an opportunity to cut to a different section of that rooftop to make it more interesting. Instead of it being just like a straight run.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the power of editing. Like people they cut down like the space between like running. Like I there's an exercise we did in our film class where like it's just someone walking up the stairs, and depending on the way you cut it, you can cut down like the 30-second walk up the stairs or 20-second walk up the huge staircase to like 5 seconds, and just like by choosing different camera angles, and like it's not jarring at all. So yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. The other option too is a continuous shot, which can look very cool if done well, and it's in a good location where there's a lot of action
oneer. Good oneer. Whew.
Yeah.
But that has to be like a very dynamic camera kind of following and going around. So that's also just commendable in its own sense.
Or have a setup to where you're able to like cut between different cameras in a stealthy way. Yeah. Like there's a one
hitting cuts in
Hawkeye,
like Loki,
where it was cutting because of like the cameras go around different parts of the car. Right. Yeah. So stuff like that.
Yeah, no. Then after that, I would say once we figured out end goal, we figured out the environment, we start breaking down the like section by section of that rooftop or whatever the environment is to figure out what is the most aesthetically pleasing movement to do, what is the most not going to be the most challenging. We don't want hard challenges,
right? Yeah, you got to think about the actors, like you're saying, like doing this day in day out.
And then we also got to think what is realistic, because at the end of the day, if somebody's doing like like The Office, where it's like parkour, it's not going to make sense, and it's not going to be appealing to the audience either. So then it's breaking down each of the moves, kind of like you would for a stunt or for a fight scene as well, and then you take it chunk by chunk and go from there.
Was that how you would approach training the actors and performers? Just going chunk by chunk, and like I feel like you'd have to communicate with them the meaning behind each move as well, so they understand the story and decisions behind it.
I think ideally, so most stunt performers have a somewhat of a base in parkour or somewhat of a base in movement, some type of movement, whether it's
know how to move,
martial arts.
I can be a stunt performer.
Well, like a martial art movement, where it's very fluid with your
more than your average Joe, pretty much.
Yeah.
So most stunt performers pick up parkour actually very quickly, or use it on the side to be able to protect themselves when they're moving through their environment, but also to look more professional.
Yeah.
And so to be able to get an actor ready for that kind of scene, you're breaking down the movements with boxes in a warehouse, right? So we
Yeah.
have different vault boxes that we can use or bring in to kind of create a similar environment, but then be able to break down the specific movements in a more controlled environment and at a smaller pace before bringing it
Right.
up to big. So in
Yeah,
this,
I mean that's also something. Again, sorry for interrupting
No,
you. It's
you're
something
fine.
to consider when
Yeah.
you're doing like this chase sequence. When it's edited together, it looks like a huge like 3 minute, however long sequence of they're like doing this whole thing. But like they're not performing that whole thing like the whole way through, so they don't have to like memorize. I have to go here, then here, then here, then here. Like they just have to remember like how to do this one move for this one shot kind of thing, and just kind of remember that. And that's where the preparation I think comes in hand.
Exactly. Matting is obviously a huge thing too, like making
Yeah.
sure that there's good padding and mats.
Yeah.
If an actor feels uncomfortable with a situation, in this situation, it seemed from what I was able to gather that the two actors that were actually doing the parkour scene were parkour athletes or have a pretty solid parkour background. So I don't think that they really had much of an issue coming in and
Yeah.
being like, I don't know how to do that, or what do
Yeah.
I do? It was probably they came in and were like, yeah, why don't we go from here to here? And they probably had some say in that.
Right.
But I think, as we can see by the 360 tack, I think that some of the producers were like, do something cool over there.
Right. Yeah. You also need to
Do
consider like the people that aren't professionals, or like we just need more like the studio input, and just like so many cooks in the kitchen that like some things probably slip through, and it's probably not the fault of like the expert, because they probably know like what everything you're saying, and they're probably like but like the producer Kathleen Kennedy wanted a spin there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great scene all the way through. I think
Yeah.
there were definitely a few like little things that I was like about, but like all
Right.
in all, there was great movement. There was a totally good story. I wish that there was a little bit better of an ending than just I appeared after jumping off a building.
Yeah, I do. I see that. Yeah.
But
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
cool, dude. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a great segment. And any last minute thoughts or anything you want to plug while you're here? You said your Instagram, but anything else?
Yeah, my Instagram, definitely. If
It'll
you're
be
ever
linked
in the-
below.
Appreciate that. If you ever come out to Arizona, like Phoenix area, definitely come check out Legacy Sports USA. You'll see me over at the ninja section over there. But other than that, I don't really have that much to plug.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll jump out of this segment. Boosh. Also, speaking, I know we jumped around, but speaking of that cantina thing I said before, that other segment, we're back. Also, hello. That the blue elephant, Max Rebo.
Yeah,
he
I was gonna
survived.
say, he's back.
He survived Jabba's destruction, so that's great. He's on tour now, doing great. So good for him. That's pretty much most of what I had. Robert Rodriguez, the director, he's doing 3 of the 7 episodes. So I'm excited. I think he did a great job. He also did, if you remember, in Mando season 2, the episode where Grogu gets all like space wizard forcey and is captured. So I like that episode. That was the other episode with Boba Fett like kicking butt. So like that's really cool that he like did this one too. And it's also this project's also headed again by Favreau and Filoni. Like Favreau wrote this one. I think he wrote most of them. I don't know.
Our Lord and Savior.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, also, I haven't really made like an official announcement for this, but this is a good little reward for people, I don't know, that are watching to the end. But so we're kind of starting a new kind of mission this year, and just like goal beyond this year, but like we really want to start getting like industry professionals on, and like the first, like the big header that we want to get on the show, just to do kind of what like Leppy did, like talk for a few minutes and we can like clip it and like just get his insights, and he can promote like whatever they're working on, or they can promote whatever they're working on. But the first person we want to get on is Jon Favreau. Like he's an idol for me, and I know Daniel looks up to him too. I don't know, I don't speak for you, but like
No, dude, totally same. It all started with Elf.
Yes, I know.
But no, seriously, like
So we're trying to get him on the show. You know, for me, it started with Friends, actually, or maybe Rudy. I don't know. But anyways, we're trying to get him on the show, and other people along the way, like the Russo brothers. Be amazing to get them on the show. They follow us on TikTok. Not to brag.
you have to bring that up like every time.
I know.
See it. You're like, let me just put it in there.
But yeah, so that's super exciting. We are trying to grow, and we're trying to get more exciting people on because everyone has a cool story to tell, and that's what film is: stories. Wow, that was a weird whatever.
That was very cheesy. Oh my god. It's true.
And
He's out
on
of line,
that
but he's right.
cheesy note, we're gonna make an official announcement about that more later, working on it. But anyways, on that official note, you ready for patron shout-outs?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Cue the episode music. Boosh! You got Patreon. Lori, Frank, Vic, Lisa, Evan, Tony, thank you so much for pledging the tier that gets you the shout out and your supporters over on Patreon. The link is down in the description. You get episodes early. We post like special announcements there. Just roll in the Discord that we record. All that, more perks, all that jazz and more. Yeah. Oh, we also, for this week, we have some review and comment shout outs.
Right. Yeah.
We had some really nice ones. I have a review from my roommate that I would like to save for the next time. TFK Aspect commented on our last No Way Home review. I love your content. I follow your TikTok and Spotify podcast, but I only wish that you had more views and subs because this is quality content and I love it. I think more people should try you guys out. I will share this to as many people as I can so you can get more views and subs so you don't quit. Not saying you will quit or you will, but either way. Seriously, that honestly made my day.
So
I
sincere
texted it to Daniel. I was like, Daniel, you gotta look at this. Like, seriously, one of the best comments we've ever received. Thank you so much. That seriously made my day. And thank you to everyone that have commented. Some more people commented under that video. I'll shout it out now because I have another one lined up for next time. But FXDE-Pridge wrote, wow, this was a very entertaining video. So thank you, seriously. If you would like to leave a review or a comment, we will shout those out in this segment here. But yeah, so that's everything I had. Anything else you wanted to mention?
I think you covered everything, mate.
All right. Ready for the introduction? When?
Yep, let me win. Got me off guard there. We just talked about whatever you want to talk about, and now we're done. Plant.
Thank you so much for listening. Seriously, really genuinely appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be back next time, hopefully on Monday. Thank you again for getting used to our new dates for Boba Fett Chapter 2. Yeah, all right, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.